I think this is a great, fun ride, but it also is kind of a dig in the ribs of that insatiable appetite. And I would only hope, with every inch of me, that we don't find ourselves watching Death Race in reality.
We don't get to that level.
Yeah. I hope not.
Well, tell me a little bit about how Frankenstein has changed since the last film. You know, the arc of the character is a little bit different in this one.
It is. I mean, my first visit to the role was tethered somewhat to Statham, I guess, and that first, which he did a wonderful job. For me, I prefer this particular incarnation because it gave me a chance with my friend Raul Rene, the director, to create a world that we felt we could kind of play with. And because we were using Africa as Africa, we got bigger shots, bigger vistas. My character, in contrast to that, has to be more kind of isolated and more stoic. And because he now realizes the power that he has as the head, if you like, the marquee star of that franchise within the story, he has to live this isolated world, which really does lend itself well to the story. So for me personally, making him more of an anti-hero, slightly more untouchable, a bit more interior, kind of driven, I really enjoyed making him this time, much more than the second movie.
Yeah, and you got to develop the relationship between Lucas and Katrina a little bit more in this one.
Well, there's a distance between us that's you know, as a tough guy, you know, he has to kind of, there's a lot of misunderstanding deliberately within the story. They don't know what Frankenstein is doing, and that creates a loneliness for him that actually works for him. But that kind of distance that's forced between us creates this desire to reunite himself with her again. And I think that's an unusual twist in an action movie, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, and you're saying that actually he's a little bit more of a leader of the team in this one, with Danny and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, you know, it helped with that. You know, having that camaraderie with Ving, myself, Danny Trejo. I think it was that kind of camaraderie, and Fred, who plays Lists. You know, we have a friendship, and we said, let's let that live. Let's all ask questions like within the scenes. And I know it's action, it's fast-paced, but let's find how we can create moments of leadership, moments of strength, moments of vulnerability. So I think that friendship that exists in real life really assisted the movie this time.
Yeah, how cool is it working with Danny Trejo and Ving
Danny
Rhames? Danny who?
No.
Danny Machete Trejo?
Danny Trejo, you kidding me? Like, he's a bona fide badass in film. I mean, I'm a massive fan of his. I think he's great. And he's the real deal. But the thing about Danny, like any real tough man I've ever hung out with, you know, he has a heart of gold. He's not walking around proving anything. He's Danny Trejo. Same for Ving. They're great guys. But, you know, I think we're very lucky to have those boys in the movie. I think they did a great job, for sure.
Yeah, and the addition of Dougray Scott as the villain.
Dougray Scott is a great actor, too. He's a celebrated actor from Great Britain. And when I heard that we had him as our nemesis, I was like, this is only going to up the stakes and mean everybody's got to keep bringing their A game, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah. Did you get to do a lot of your own driving this film, or how did you work with the stunt coordinator?
I'm a big brat with that. Toys, trophy trucks, you know, are you kidding me? I mean, Patty Jackson at Universal, she was the executives there, great producer. She kind of gave up the fight. They said, okay, let him drive the car. And the fighting, I did all my own stunts, no stunt double whatsoever. Even when I had the mask on, which was kind of pretty stressful. 5 hours to do the first fight scene, to shoot that. And so...
does wearing the mask limit what you can sort of see in the fight scenes?
It limits what you can breathe as well. Right. You know, so it's I have to be honest with you, it was a very, very challenging thing to do. And actually in the screenplay, that fight was going to last longer with the mask off. And Raul and I was literally, they had oxygen on set. It sounds melodramatic, but when you're fighting and you cannot breathe, I mean, obviously the mask is this. There is nowhere to breathe. And it was made of rubber for thinking they thought it would benefit me, because just in case I got hit, which I actually did, got hit with a heel full pelt in the face. But what rubber does when it's against your mouth is it stops you breathing. So we decided to lose the mask.
Last question, real quick. On the Blu-ray, you got the rated version and unrated version. What do you like?
Unrated.
Unrated.
Of course. Naughtiness. Action, more explosions. You know, this is Death Race. I mean, Death Race that's rated is kind of an oxymoron. And also, there's a great tumbling scene. I actually rolled the vehicle. That didn't make the movie, of course. Unintentionally rolled the vehicle, which does make the DVD extra, so that's probably worth getting it for that.
So see the unrated version.
So nice to see you again, by the way.
Awesome, great to see you,
Cheers,
Luke.
mate.